Michael Rice, aka Dad. Tell him your name.
Tristan.
Tell me your name loud. Tell me your name loud.
Tristan.
And this is episode 8, so this is episode 8.
It's episode 8.
The quarantine edition.
The quarantine edition.
What do you think about what's going on with this coronavirus, man?
I don't know if this is gonna go away.
Hey, coronavirus, he said it's gonna go away. But hey, check this out. Hey, Tristan and Daddy show. Hey, this is unedited, so come on, buddy, let's pray together. Pray. So, what you been doing, man, since you've been quarantining, bro? What you been up to?
We had to get the muscle trucks on.
Hey, speaking of that, Tristan, man, he loves muscle trucks, so
I love Grey Digger and
tell him who you love. Your favorite. Tell him your favorite muscle trucks.
Grey Digger, Max D, Muscle Mud. We need Muscle Mud and
yeah, this is dude. He's a huge muscle truck fan. Tell him what you did for your.
Boom! We in the gym. Welcome to EJ's Gym, a guide to elevate your mindset. Woo! I got my boy rocking since what? 06, Mike?
06, love.
06, man. Back on the yard. Old St. Aug, back on the yard, man. My old teammate. That's been my homie ever since, man. 2020 from 06, we still rocking. That's my boy. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
People, what up? Coach Rice, man. This is Today You Win because today you live. I'm excited, like EJ said, man. I'm glad to be. I'm just glad to be in the gym, man. Got to just to get a chance to rock with E. Like I said, we've been at it for a minute. 06, we got a chance to coach together. We just created a bond that can never be broken, man. That's my bro for life. So I'm excited to be a part of the gym, man. When he say gym, I got to elevate your mind. I think we have to do that every day. So I'm excited to be here, man. Thanks again for the opportunity.
That's what's up, man. And Mike is a pro at elevating mindsets, man. This is what he does, like every day. This is his life, and that's what I want to talk about, and I want to share with the world about everything that you do as a creator, as a motivator, as a teacher, and everything else that you do. With yourself, man. Go ahead and tell the world about your brand and what you do on the side.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, yeah, like I said, Michael Rice. I go by Coach Rice. It all started, man, he can attest to this. It all started with coaching. We were blessed to coach a group of young men. And it was no question. The first thing when I asked he was like, "Say no more up there." And the story goes on to I used to always. We had a tough season. We didn't win any games. But I always used to have a message. I always used to have something in my back pocket to get the boys or some encouragement or a scripture or something like that. And it was actually E. He was like, "Hey, Mike, man, you can take that. You can take that a little farther." And then I was like, "Oh, what you mean?" He's like, "Man," he said, "the way you adapt to the kids, the way you just cultivate with the parents." He said, "Man, you can actually create something." And then I just shot for the stars, started just making videos out of nowhere. And that's what it all started, man. Just me being the motivation. It all came from just coaching. And then I had Discover Greatness. I started Discover Greatness, and that was just the birth of just helping individuals grow. Let's go, man. Discover Greatness, man. And that's where everything came from. It's Today You Win, because today you live. And then long story short,
yeah,
I kind of changed Discover Greatness. I was motivating, but I was like, man, I want to start creating something that has my own kind of brand to it. So I kind of moved away from Discover Greatness as just being the brand and just branding myself as a new entity as Coach Michael Rice, using those same principles, using the greatness that's already inside of me to say, hey, look, I can still use Discover Greatness. That's still me, but I can start using myself as a coach. So I just kind of slid over, and because I wasn't afraid of changing, and I wasn't afraid of just moving beyond just what people knew me as a Discover Greatness. Still having that mark, but never to say, "Hey man, this is the new me." So I'm excited. That's where I'm at now with just creating new content and just starting from square one, man. So yeah, but Discover Greatness it will always be here. Yes, sir.
That's cool, man. Okay, and you mentioned something about like the greatness inside of you. Can you like elaborate? Can you explain? What do you mean about the greatness inside?
Well, the greatness inside of us, uh, I always say you were born to win. And when I tell people that, some people they can't really think about like, was I born to win? Because we all pretty much seeds of greatness. So when I say the greatness inside of me, it's already in there, but it has to be discovered. I think everybody has a gift. Everybody has something that they was born or purpose to do. So the greatness with your inner self has to be birthed out, man. So when I talk about greatness, you were birthed. When you think about it, man, you beat, or what they say, you was the one that came out of your mother's womb. You beat a million other um, sperms or whatever to get here. So
Yeah.
you were winning before you even knew it. So that's what I say, man. I just about being great, just being born to win, being great.
Okay. Okay. That's cool, man. So you have a great message about being. You said what? Born to win, right? Everybody's born to win. You come out the womb. We all have a purpose, but it's about discovering that.
Exactly.
Get people to discover their purpose, or that to get on that path of winning.
I want to say it start with habits, man, and I can attest. Even about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was at a point, and I heard you say this often, like, Mike, who motivates the motivator?
Right,
So
right, right.
I was at a point where I was angry, I was angry with a lot of stuff, and I was trying to make like different content and different stuff, but I was like, man, if I'm not good within myself,
Mm.
there's no way I can go try to motivate somebody. So I think it starts with habits. And it was a quote, and it's a preacher that I listen to, man. Shout out her name is Cindy Trim. She said, when I can no longer change the things that are around me, I can
Mm.
change myself to be the change I want to see. And after that, I was done, man. Like I was just like
Wow.
that whole thing just kind of switched all my motivation. It was like I have to work inside of what I'm doing to, when other people see the change in me, when they see the change in me, it'll change the environment. So I think it's for habit and being aware, being aware that you being aware that you need it, and being aware that you want to change. I think that's so big.
Okay. So where did the foundation come from? And I know we had the story. I know because I'm your boy, but like I said, I want to share it with the world. Where does the foundation of like everything that you create, where does it come from?
Man,
Did
it
you
just
build
comes.
it? Let's say that if we can put it in that
It,
context.
it just came. Like I said, it all cultivated around sport, But it just came from just a desire to want to be the best at what
A
I did. Want to
desire.
be,
Wow.
yeah, a burning desire, man. Wanted
Mm.
to um just just wanted to be the best. Wanted to be successful in business. Wanted to be successful in creating a product. Wanted to be successful in create a product, because we all know, man, success leaves tracks.
Mm.
So if you having that desire to um push and the desire to be great, no matter how long it takes, and I think that's that's the that's what I want to use. I want to say that's the challenge to
Mm.
push yourself every day to be better. And one thing you say, you can never stop learning, or you can never stop researching. So the
Right.
more that I learn, the more that I research, the more that I want to get better, knowing that it's there, the more I can get it done. And the motivation now that I have a son is even greater. Just to say, look, this is what Pop did, and this is what I can do, um, moving forward. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's cool. So what's the goal with your idea? What you have with Coach Michael
The goal with the goal with discover not discover greatness. Shout out to that. The goal with Coach Michael Rice is to create a brand where people can go beyond themselves.
Rice?
They can say, well, okay, you lacking self esteem. Let's tackle that. What are the challenges? Okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What
Mm.
asking the question, what do you really want? What do you really
Mm.
want out of your life? And
Right,
and
right.
then being able to being able to say, Because a lot of people, they just don't know what they want. So
Okay. Okay.
it's to create that, it's to ask those questions and being able to work with somebody on a consistent basis, to be the change they want to see. Because I think people want it, they just don't know the steps to get in there. And
Mm.
I think it would be just asking questions, the
Mm.
same question I ask myself, and then and putting out a blueprint to say, or a life plan to say, this is what I did. This what can help you get to where you want to go.
Okay. So if the first step to making a change is to ask a question, okay, what would be the next step if you could guide somebody into that, like making
That's a great question. The next step would be, like I said, creating a plan and then setting some goals.
a change?
Um, and I think or and a vision. And it says I can't think. I'm trying to think of what scripture it says about vision.
Mm. Is it
I
like
can't think.
what faith without sight or what? Something like that.
Oh, faith. Yeah, no, faith without faith. No, it's not. It's the one about vision. I
Mm-hmm.
can't think of it. But just creating a vision for your life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then setting a plan, and then starting out with some goals, maybe one goal, or let's say somebody said they want to lose weight.
Mm.
Okay, you want to lose weight, but you can start off with some cardio, but
Right.
what are you eating? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It
Right.
starts off to kind of minimize your eating habits and cultivate along that with your exercise plan. So the
Mm.
goal is there, but what are the steps to going to get you to where you want to go, or if you want to lose a certain amount of weight? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you want to lose this, so you know that you got to do that. You got to work out 6 times per day, or you
Mm-hmm.
have to eat the right amount of foods. I mean, just stuff like things like that to put it in order for you to be successful.
Okay. You said something about visualizing. Like, do you have anything about the word visualization? Like, do you use that? Does that help you? Like, as far as like setting goals or doing, or does that help you create?
Yeah, yeah. With the vision, it does, because you want to picture you trying to picture yourself before it happens.
Right.
Because if you think about it, people say they want to get to the future, but honestly, the future is already there.
Right.
You feel like you're chasing it, but the future is there. So I'm putting in the vision to say, okay, I see myself being a successful business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So what does a successful business owner look like? And start picturing yourself with that business. Start picturing yourself with those contracts, and then being able to uh Brian Tracy calls it long term a long term process.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to go in the future and see what it looks like, and then bring it back into the present to get you where you need to be.
Okay. So, all right. So you visualize and you see it. What about the word taking action? What about taking action?
Man,
Can you talk about that?
that's like the number one key, man. That
Mm-hmm.
the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is taking massive action,
Mm.
because you know it's there. Because I heard somebody say taking risks. Sorry about that.
It's all good. We record and we rolling. We rolling. We talk and we rolling.
I heard somebody say not taking those steps is risky too. So if you don't take it, it's risky, and if you do take it, it's risky. So either way,
Right.
those
Right. Right.
those
Right.
and those that I can is usually right. So I just say, go ahead and take that step and let faith guide you on the way. So I think it's important, man, to take massive action. Because sometimes it's those little things in our head that we see, like you say, we see the vision, we see the excitement, but it's those little things, putting those things in question, and don't get me wrong. It's okay to. I hear somebody say it's okay. It's okay to plan, but it's better to perform.
Mm.
And I was like, man, that's deep. He said, don't. He said,
Right.
planning. Don't planning is not bad. You know,
Right.
we want to plan,
Mm-hmm.
but he said the difference between. He said, think about it. He was like the difference between me. The difference between me and, like I said, but Kobe, the late Kobe Bryant. Man, rest in peace. That's my guy. He said, think about it. When Kobe was in the game, he wasn't planning. He was performing. I was like, so you got to be in a position there where you're not planning so much that you lose the focus of what you're saying. Taking
Right.
massive action and performing, being a game changer. So I think
That's cool. All right, so you talk about taking action, visualizing, and actually taking action. So what about the company that you keep, the people that you surround yourself? That's important as well. You hear me?
man, that's big, man. They say the 3 or 5 people that you spend your time with will affect your environment. So, and sometimes when you think about it, wherever your mind goes, your energy flows. So if your
Right.
energy your
Right.
energy is tied around, if your energy is tied around people that don't see themselves going anywhere, and you're steady and you're trying to push them, man, that's weighing on you, and then you can never grow.
Right.
So I was listening to the guy. He said, think about it. If you have friends and you're pretty much always, say for instance, if your friends was in a race and you're always continuously beating them,
Right.
they're not challenging you, so you slack off. But think about it. If somebody's in a track race and they're running against the top, I want to say top sprinters, they may lose, but their time will be faster because they were challenged.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
so,
Mm. Give
so
it to
hey,
him, Mike. Give it to him, Mike. Give it to him, Mike.
think about what he said. He's saying, like, so if you were in a group of friends and you kept beating them, and they could never. Like, man, I'm gonna stop. Hey, look, I'm gonna stop challenging myself. I'm not gonna keep doing it. But if you get into another group where they're better than you,
Mm.
they have studied more than you, they have learned more than you,
Level up.
they leveled up, they trained. Hey, you may lose, but the fact that you was out there sprinting. If you look at it, your time will be faster because you had to go to another level.
Right.
So I think oh man, so think about
Uh,
think about that when you in that group, man, and it's a blessing because I always say the goals of your future, where God is taking you, is going to have a different crowd, man, at the finish line, and you don't see that until you start growing, until you start learning, and you know, don't get me
wow.
wrong, if you hung out with 2 or 3 years or 5 years ago, is it, man, your circle is changing, man, and
Right.
you seen that. And I constantly say that, man, and I see the crowd, and it may be different, different coworkers. It may be you maybe had moved to a different job, but that crowd is changing, man. So I think it's big. And don't get me wrong, you always pretty much, for some people, you always have your family there. You're gonna always have, different friends. Like I said, we've been cool, we've been close for a long time. But
Mm.
as you begin to grow and change and start networking, that crowd is gonna change, man. So I think that's big, man. Spending time with people that's gonna help you grow, um, successfully and also spiritually, man. I think that's big.
Okay. That's what's up, man. That's cool. All right. So another question I have for you, what we didn't really talk about that much. You have something, right? And it's right there. No, it says Coach Mike Rice, but I think it popped up on the last one that we tried to record, the Tristan and Daddy show. What's that all about?
Man, Tristan Daddy. So, man, for those of you who know, I have a son. He's 4 now. His name is Tristan. Um, and he's man, when he first was born, man, he just had a glow about him. And I was like, I wanted to create something that when he's maybe 10, 11, 12, 13, or he gets drunk, like, man, hey, Pops or Dad, we had the Tristan Daddy show, something he can look back at this episodes and see that man, this is where we came from. And I think it started when he was about 2, and just to see the growth in that, man, it's such a blessing. So I was like, man, what I'm gonna do is, because at first we just started as a hobby, and then it just kind of sparked, and people was like, man, I just out one day, and you don't really think people watching, but they do. They see, it's like, man, I'm enjoying the Tristan and Daddy show. And I was like, man, I need to keep that going. So I think we was on like episode 10, and usually what I say, man, most of the time when we record it, it's not edited, man. Like I'll do some special things, but I just let it flow. And oftentimes, if it doesn't come out, the reason why, because I want to build that content. I didn't just want to keep it running and just lose the authenticity of it. So most of the time, it's like it's fairly, but it'll come out until I can kind of build that brand where I have somebody in that role to actually build that. But it's kind of pretty much, man, just I'm not gonna say hit or miss, but it's just kind of him being authentic and his being himself. That's why I always say before we start, hey, this is not, hey, whatever he says, because I wanted to be spot on. I mean, minor things that he does, but I try to let it be spot on and let it be him, because at the end of the day, he can say, man, that was me. So but he started to really realize when he sees me doing video, you can really start seeing him getting a hold of it, building his own platform, and even with the Tristan and Daddy show, man, I kind of let him have his own little thing where he has the Tristan classroom, and we just record him. He's in pre-K now, and we just record him doing his work. We just record him doing his work, and it's just the Tristan's classroom, and so just building that brand for him to have his own brand when he gets older, to say, or start his own motivation or whatever. But just building that to say when he gets, I don't know, about 7 or 8, he'll have his own platform, and with technology, man, you can do anything now.
Right.
So that's what they count on. Just go ahead and start building that confidence in him to not be camera shy and just to go for it, man. So I think he's gonna be big. And we're just gonna keep creating until he does it on his own.
Man, it sounds like you have like a mini network going on over there, buddy.
Hey, man, I'm trying to build an empire, man.
You're trying to build an empire, or you are building an empire.
Yeah, I am.
Now.
Hey, that's good. I am. I have so much, so many ideas, man, that I'm cultivating, and I know you've been a big push to say, hey, Mike, man, you talking too much, man. You gotta sound some action around your stuff. So I definitely been in. I definitely been in that mode. Like I said, creating content with Coach Michael Rice, and I mentioned before that, and I got some stuff coming up, man, that I'm excited to release, and not holding it back, like you said, taking massive action, man, and just whatever I have on it, just really letting it out, just being that open book for people to say, hey, man, I see you, because it takes two or three people to see it to make like it's like a validation. Like I posted something, it's like, hey, man, I seen this, but the only thing about it is consistency, because oftentimes when people start something, and man, about this is law of attrition. Like when you first say things that you haven't really made no videos or whatever, but you make one and it's pop, like it just pop. It's like, man, because they ain't see, they hadn't seen you,
right?
And it's like oh man, you doing the motivation thing on this thing. I mean, I see
right.
You get all the likes, all the comments, but then when you go back, it's like, oh, this gonna hit again, and you don't get the same little spark. And
right.
It is that you did. It's just people. Sometimes people they're not as excited, and that spark don't hit like it did the first time. But you have to be you have to stick to it. And oftentimes I see people do that. It's like they make great content, and they stop. Right. And it's like, man, you just gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep pushing it. And I think that's what it takes, to just be aggressive, man. And in whatever brand you're trying to be, especially as an entrepreneur, that's the new way entrepreneur. But if you think about it, man, we have been doing this for a minute.
Right.
So I just think about building that platform and being consistent, man. It's where it's at.
So it's a few things, and you can answer it in whatever order you like. I know you have a book out. We haven't mentioned that, and you can let people know. There you go. That's the book. You can talk about the book and talk about what you have coming up for the people.
Oh yeah, man. This is I had it ready. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. It's today because it's value in front of the and it's man. This I wrote this book. I want to say I wrote this book maybe 2004. I wrote the book in 2014, and it was released. Oh, I had a mess. It was released in 2016, man, and it's just a story about my life, man, from where I came up, from how I was raised, my childhood. It talks about my growth from elementary school to um, high school to college. How high school, I mean college, I mean elementary school had some troubles, man, just getting a lot of trouble. Then from middle school on, from high school, man, I really started finding myself. I was good in sports, good in football, and I was a homecoming king. And then when I got to college, being away from home, I was like kind of back at square one, trying to find out who I am, this freedom I have. I was born, I'm raised in the church. I'm trying to be this good, Christian boy, but also, there's temptation, man. So, I was that's kind of fighting these. I was just kind of fighting, but just finding my way back. And in the book, man, it also um about one of my favorite chapters, man, is it's okay to fail, man. And I and that, and that, and that, and that, and that I talk about uh even my coaching journey. When I first started, I was young and I was trying to be. I was still wanting to play. I was trying to coach the kids in my eyes on if I was playing. But then I started going to learn. It's like, man, hey Mike, your playing day is over, man. You got to start building yourself up, learning and growing more. And that's how I started becoming a better coach.
Right.
And um and I said at the end, I said, yeah, we all need help. So fail at what you love, because if you love it, you'll go back to it. And have an animalistic approach about going after your dreams and goals. Pursue and attack. So I was like, man. So when I go back and just listen, when I go back and it's like, man, those are my words. It just builds confidence. And if you go to the chapter 6, and it's on Kindle, it's still on Amazon. It's Today You Win, Today You Live. It says, success is a journey. I write in my journal 30 pages of successful plans that I plan to achieve. My emotions are filled with joy, happiness, and gladness because I see myself building success. It's like I'm building prosperous steps that will never end. Pens running out of ink. Check this out. Pens running out of ink because the race to success tends to test my personal motivation. But I'm not afraid to ask for help. It helps me see I'm not the only one in it to win the game.
Wow.
Look, check this out, man. And that's like, I can't believe I wrote this. He said, you're not afraid to ask for help because it helps me see that I'm not the only one in the game. I'm not the only one in it to win the game of successful games. It's like I gain skills by listening and learning, setting myself up to be humble because I'm striving for more. I'm dreaming of it, walking down future road. As I stop at the crossroad, I see signs. Say success. And it's an instance I define my success. Can you see yours? So, like I said, it's all about building those steps. And what I had to learn is where you at now. We see it online. We see it on Facebook. The imagery, man, of the perception. If you don't have specific things, you're not successful. We're not saying at the state that you're in right now, at the state that me and E right now, we're not saying that we're not successful. And I think that's what people battle with. It's just we see ourselves wanting more for us in business, for us in personal, especially for us personal finance, and just to see people grow because we know that there's a tribe of people that's going for the same thing. We see it now. We see people that are are coaching. We see people that are influencers, but it's saying not putting this glossy thing over, which is like if you make 100 videos and you do this, you're gonna have a Lamborghini or something like that. No, it's like it's like a 10 years work, man. Because
right.
We see people, we see these great influencers that's doing the same thing that we doing on the local level. But you never know. The more you build, like you said, the more you build content, man, in the next 10 or 30 years, this stuff is gonna be for the next generation. And he's like, man, so we're setting up to be the future influencers for 2 to 3 years. And I think about that because like who's gonna be in, I don't know, 2030. Who's gonna be like the next Brian Tracy? Who's gonna be like the next Jim Rome? Who's gonna be like the next ET? Who's gonna be like the next, like all these guys like Gary Vee? Who's gonna be the next of them? And it's gonna be the people that's grinding now. So I think you can't be afraid to start. You can't be afraid to just go after it, man, and create, man. So I think that's gonna be big.
Okay, that's cool, man. So anything else that you have coming up? You mentioned the book, or you can mention your website, or where people can find you,
Yeah, man, website,
Instagram, or where you
coach,
put your stuff.
yeah, website, man, is coachmichaelrice.com. You can find me on Instagram at Coach Michael Rice and Facebook um at Coach Michael Rice. And now I'm on back. I be going back and forth, but now I'm on LinkedIn at Michael Rice. Just building content, man, and posting every day. And I did want to say this before I shut it. I did want to say this. I've started habit tracking myself. Like I printed out and it's a thing. It's a habit tracking template. And what I did is I'm big. I'm trying to be big on competing with myself to get up, work out, you know,
Yeah.
read my scripture and post. So on my habit tracker, man, I don't have it, but I created a list of things that need to happen every day. And every time and I thought I am a technology guy, but I found out that I'm more of a paper guy, man. So I need to see it. But sometimes I got so many apps on my phone that I can't really get to it. So I was like, man, I need to track it. So I got that notebook and I track everything from like what time I go to sleep, what time I go to bed. Then I do my morning routine, and I read this book. It's called What to Say. It's like a self-talk, what to say to yourself.
Mm.
So every day I get up, I say that I'm a winner. I say that I'm a good listener. I say that I have a good memory, and
Mm.
I tell myself, man, this is a great day. Attack, and I'm going to attack this day. And it helped me this morning because I was like, man, I don't feel like working out, but I said, I'm a
Uh-oh.
look. I said, it says
Oh.
the quote says, I'm gonna attack this day with all I got. So I ain't had no,
Right.
when I said it, I was like, man, I gotta get up. I gotta get up. Said I'm gonna
Right.
attack every day. So I said that, and that's been a big help, man. So I track that saying self talk, and then everybody that I'm listening to, whether it's like a YouTube, I track every day that I'm making sure I'm listening to them. Like so, I'll track. Like right now, I'm listening to Brian Tracy. This guy named it's another guy on YouTube. I can't think of his name, but I track how many days I listen to him, man. Because in the journey, man, it has to be a continuous of you listening to something. If somebody's motivating you, somebody is inspiring you. So it's just like, are you listening to yourself? Are you talking to yourself negative? So the more that I get that positive influence, and right now I'm back on the book that you had suggested. I think you suggested about a year ago, but I've been listening to it when I work out. The compound effect, man. I'm on it. So that's big. I'm really listening to that. And it's the same, and it's the same thing, but you need to hear that over and over, just building that
Right.
consistency and doing something every day. And I've been when I've been working out, I've been on a treadmill, man, and that treadmill is so boring. But
Mm.
I see myself building momentum because I was like, and today I had to do something for this one of my coworkers, and I had to run. And when I came back, she said that was fast. So I was like, hey, man, it's that treadmill. I can feel it
Mm.
because at first she's like, man, so I'm on this thing and I'm not moving. But as I continue to do it, man, I really see the progress. And I'm like, man, it's not like what I usually do when I go run because I like doing trails, but I can really see the power in doing 30 to 45 minutes a day, and I'm gonna just keep doing it, man. So yeah, I think that's big habit tracking.
Mm.
Because when you start tracking what you're doing, you'll see where you kind of missed it at
Right. Right.
that you missed it. So that's big. But yeah, Coach Michael Rice um on Instagram. Right now, I am setting myself up um for podcasts and interviewing different people. That's when you hit because when you hit me with this, I was like, man, he said he want to do this, so I'm setting myself up for Coach Rice. Born to Win Born to Win podcast. I got to get you and Sherrod back on, and
Mm.
then today I win because today I live. Pretty much it's gonna be a series of people, especially you already know you're gonna be in there, and my family members, people that's in my family that has their own businesses. and
Right.
people that are successful. So man, just gonna pretty much do the same thing, interview them and just ask them questions like how how did you how did you build this and what are you doing now and why do you think people going after their dreams? So it's just people in my local community and family members that I've seen with my own eyes be successful and build brands and just interviewing them to get their story out, man. Because right now, podcasts are big, and people's voice are big. Right now, like I told one of my cousins, he's doing it. I said, man, everybody has a chance now to have a voice, with podcasting and video. So it the time is now, man. Right now to do it. Being on camera. So that's what I got now for Michael Rice, man. A series of people winning in their daily life and in their daily journey, man. So I think that's gonna be big.
Cool. Okay. I definitely want to touch this topic because you mentioned it. Self-talk. And we talk about motivating people, and we know that's an important skill to have or important skill to learn, the act of positive self-talk, because sometimes people are not aware. That's another word that you're aware of their behaviors and then the habit track. Like, it's a lot of things, because that's my thing. You see my logo, God, to elevate your mindset. We on the same wave. So a lot of people are kind of like on auto, don't even realize the things that they're doing to themselves, the things that they're saying to themselves, and they're in that same loop. So how can you use like a self-talk, positive self-talk, or whatever you want to call it, to get somebody out of that negative loop or that negative cycle?
Man, that's a good question, and I'm gonna go back to the positive self talk. But I read this book, man. It's called Switch on Your Brain, and she says it takes about it takes about 21 days if you're telling yourself that you're gonna be great, you're gonna do it. It takes about 21 days to make it effective. But he
Mm,
says it takes 63 to
mm,
make that thing a lifestyle. So it has to be a continuation. That's why I started tracking because I said, look, if if I keep hearing and the thing about positive self talk, you don't have to. Sometimes you think you got to keep speaking, you got to say it. Just listen, man. The thing is about is listening, getting your brain to start believing what they say because you know about it. The more you listen to something, even if it's not true, the more you listen, the more you're gonna start believing that thing. So if you're hearing somebody just telling you that I'm gonna be great, I'm gonna be a winner. This day is gonna be terrific. I'm the best. I love myself, man. The more you
yeah.
keep hearing that thing over and over and over, there's no way that you can't start changing. So, but I want to say, but a minimum, and even if it's not every day, but I say a minimum of 3 weeks of positive self-talk, of telling yourself that I love myself, I'm terrific, I'm gonna be the best. Today is a new day. I mean, that thing has to be creative, talking to yourself, to a point where you start believing that thing over and over. So I say a minimum
Mm,
of 3 weeks, and I recommend that book. I
mm,
can't really put it up, but it's a positive self-talk book, and those keys were just so good to help me. And I definitely give you the plug to that. But yeah, it's actually I recommend that book on my Instagram. And also, E, what I'm gonna start doing is every book that I've read, uh, I'm just gonna not necessarily say I'm gonna do a video about it, but just taking snippets from the book and posting them. And pretty much like I did on my page before. I know I did a book on Brian Tracy. And I just did a book. I did a series. I did like a short clip on the book I just read about the positive self talk. So taking these different books that I read, that people have suggested to me, especially I'm gonna actually do in the next couple of days. I'm gonna do the compound effect. When I finish that, I'm gonna take about 2 to 3 sentences of what he said and do one on that. And just taking these different books because people need to know. People need to know where we get this information from. And then
right, right, right.
like you tell us, it ain't the information that they do. It's just about discovering it and then putting it into practice. And I think that's the thing about it. People has to actually see that you know it's okay to be at a spot, but it, it's okay to be where you are. But if you trying to be the best and you trying to go forward, there's different steps. Because Brian Tracy say if you want to go somewhere that you never been before, you're gonna have to become a person that you have never been before. And I was like, man,
Right.
I think that's huge. So um, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. So
Mm,
I think that's big. And one of my friends said, "You always have these little sayings that you have," and I say, "Look, sayings I had, they came from a book or something I read." And so I think it's important to have a composure to closure, an imposure of closure. So whatever you're working on, you know, see it out, man. See it out to completion. That's what that means. A composure to closure. Starting something and finishing it. And actually, those podcasts that I was supposed to do, that's where that's coming from. A drive that I had to do something. I was like, I can flip that around and still get it out there because the message needs to be heard about people that's in. And I'm talking about people that's in my backyard, man. Not people that I don't know. Like I know these people, and I've seen them be successful. So I want you to hear their story. So that's gonna be big. Man. So yeah.
Right. And it is a few things that you said too, but I think it's a combination of things like you said about where we get information from, because you can take information, but it's still about the application of the information. You can hear anything, and if you can't apply it to your life, and it's nothing. It's like it's worthless. You know what I'm saying? And it's just certain things that I think having that foundation and going through life experiences, we create our own experience, just like you created your own book. I created my own program where we pour experiences out to people. It's the same thing those people are doing to us. You know what I mean? It's just a different format, but yours is the same format because you have a book as well. You know what I mean? They might be on a higher platform, but the people we reach are the people we reach. They're there for a reason. You know what I mean? And I always feel like I'm not big on comparing because we are people and we all have our own gifts to bring. It don't matter what platform you're on. You just got to have that, just like that love and that passion to continue to go on, regardless if you have one person watching compared to a million people watching. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's truly your passion, you're going to continue to do it no matter what. Right.
Exactly, man. And I had a guy, man, and it's funny, man. Like people always, like I said, man, you never know, man. I had this guy I went to high school with. He was like, man, he was like, you still, he said, you still doing the motivational thing? And I was like, I say, man, I haven't really been doing it as much since I started back working. I'm at the school. And he's like, man, he said, man, he said, don't stop. He said, man, cause he's like, man, you know, you was like the first one that was doing it. And man, he's like, you was ahead of everybody. And I was like, man, that's crazy. Because I was like, man, I think I was doing this like 2012, 2011. It was like, it's crazy that now it is. And you harped on that before, man. Like things that we just need to just put out, even with this, like, and just get it. And I think that's kudos to you, man. And that person to say, yeah, just be consistent with it. That's where we at now, man. So that's big, man. You just gotta go for it. Man. Go.
Yeah, that's important, man. And another thing too about, because I like for people to understand, like when I say certain things, like the subconscious mind, what you're doing with the positive self-talk is you're impressing your own subconscious mind. And you know me, I study a lot of stuff and I understand psychology and different things going on. And a lot of people don't understand that if you don't program your own subconscious mind, somebody else doing it. Through like people don't understand what words mean. Television programming. So if you don't program your subconscious mind with your own self-talk, somebody else will. So it's up to you to make that choice to be on that autopilot and you don't even know who you are. Or you can follow the tools of, you know, what Mike give you or what I give you or anybody else. It doesn't even have to be the information that we give you for you to find yourself, because if you don't create that for yourself, somebody else will create it for you.
Yeah, that's big, man. That's big. Hey, that's big because like you think about it, we talk about the subconscious, man. It's like what's the word again? I lost things
what?
about
the unseen or what?
No, your unconscious mind.
The unconscious
mind.
Like,
if you like the way how you build that is, say for instance, like okay, I started working out. If I continue to do that and start getting up, my unconscious mind is gonna take over because it's like, oh man, okay, so even if I don't really feel like working up, it's automatic. It's already establishing my brain as a routine because it don't really know it don't really know. It just know, hey, and this time you use it, go and work out. So it's gonna be like a self discipline. Say, hey, boom, just go ahead and pop up. So that's what it's doing, man. You building that routine. So I think that's big.
It is, man. And like I said, like it's just a breakdown of words if you understand what words mean. Because to be conscious is to be aware, right?
Exactly.
Subconscious is below your awareness. So it's not like right there in front of you. So meaning it's something that you would have to repeat. You have to create a routine.
Yeah.
And once you create that
mind.
routine, it builds that subconscious mind. And you know what I mean? And a lot of people are not aware of that. And they're not aware of why is it so hard for them to make a change. You have to impress your subconscious mind first. It's just like you said, first you ask questions, but that vision is what you said in combination with that self-talk is what's going to really help people get to that next step, because you have to be able to see it, and then you have to be able to say it, and then you have to start to believe it and then walk in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a combination of things, but the more you say it to yourself, the more you start to believe it, and the more you can walk in it. But like I said, if you're not doing it, somebody else is doing it.
That's definitely. And you said the word vision, and I found that scripture. It says, "Where there's no vision, the people perish." So I put it among myself. It says, "If like without no vision for my," and I put it on me. I said, and it's more than that. Some people say, "Well, just elaborate," but I said, without a vision for myself, and I perish because I don't know. Because if you have no vision, where do you see yourself going?
Right.
So that's what it is. It was Proverbs 29:18 said, "Where there's no vision, the people perish, man." So I think that's big to have, like you said, to have the vision and subconsciously. I said unconscious mind, but I was trying to get to subconscious, having that subconscious mind to move forward, because that's all in habit and routine, man. So yeah,
it is.
That vision, man, is so crucial, man. This is good.
Yeah, it's big, man, because people, I guess, really, if just like you said, asking questions, that's essential to the root of all problems, because you'll never figure anything out if you don't ask. But
exactly.
it's a lot of people that don't understand, I guess, the routine of change and the fact that we're in the area of wanting to motivate people. We study the psychology of the mind or different things to help people get out of that routine that they're stuck in, or the program that they're stuck in, or the subconscious program that they're stuck in. You know what I mean? And people, I guess the thing is to get people to see that they're in ultimate control of that. Like that's their destiny, that's their thought, that's their mindset, that they're in control of that. So how do we get people to be aware of that? Look, regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of what happened to your family, regardless of how you were born and your circumstances, you are not a victim.
Exactly, man. Hey, you can't control your condition, but you can control your decision. And I think
let it go, Mike. Let it go, Mike. Let it
that's
go.
a hard, man. And like you can't control your decision. You can't control your decision. But you can control your I'm sorry, you can't control your condition, but you can't control your decision. And Jim Rohn says, we go in the direction we face the direction we design. So start designing the direction you want, man. And I mean, those are just things that I keep all the time. Those like goals that I keep, because it's like, man, that is so dope. Because you have to, and like I said, we're not saying that it doesn't happen, because we find ourselves in places, but you have to take 100% responsibility, man. Because Brian Tracy says, before I do anything, I have to do something else first. So you're right. Before I can motivate, and all he's saying is, when he says, before I do something, I must do something first. Before I try to motivate and do all this, I have to work on what's inside of me to then be taught or be pushed out, because that's the only way that it's going to come out. You practice, study, teach. Yeah, practice, study, teach. And I was like, man, okay.
Wow.
So we learn information, and then how do we get it out? We practice it on ourselves. We put it in practice, whether
Right.
it's different, whether it's positive self talk, whether it's making videos. We practice it, and then we teach it. So
Right.
it's like this is what we do. That's
That's
and that's much what everybody does. If they are motivational speakers, they are pastors. You know, study, practice, and then you teach it.
right.
Because it's like you said, and somebody is teaching somebody negatively, whether it's through a comment,
Mhm.
whether it's how within their household, and because you already know from 0 to 7, especially for kids, they're picking up everything, man. Like to the point now, either and I love Tristan now, but he's going to the point where man, you can't say nothing right because he pick it up and he remembers it, man. I mean, it could be this man. No, I mean, not kidding. It could be 3 weeks. And I took him to the beach or whatever, and that was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Dad, remember we was at the beach and I put my foot in the water in the sand. I'm like, bro, I'm
Mhm.
not thinking about that, but he brings that back up because he hears it. Um, so I mean, he picks it up, and then he'll say, and I ask him, I say, what Daddy like to do? Uh, you like to be on the computer? Because he see me always like either listening to something or I'm doing something. Oh, you like to do your work? Daddy like to
Uh,
work, and I'm like, man. So he started to pick up this stuff, man. So, yeah, man. People, like I said, people are teaching, people are watching. So I think it's big, man. And I was listening to the video yesterday, and he said, how to live a great life. He said, making it a great life. And in there, he broke great down. He was like, how do you make a great life? You make it by your goal setting.
right.
Make it by your goal setting. Make it by being results with the art. Make it about being results art oriented. And that's why I even said with the motivation with the product we have, to the point where if you are entrepreneur or you are influencer, we're aiming for results. Right now, it's not just about making videos, making content. Okay, the result is I want this product. Like now, my result is I do motivation, but I have a product. I have something that I can it's tangible that I can get as this is a product. So I have being results oriented to to make the video, to make the content, to lead you somewhere where you can get the book. Being
Mm.
results oriented for his business mindset. So being results on um with the E in great, being excellent, being the best. Being the best at what you're doing. And he talked about taking and then he talked about with the A being action oriented, doing it now, like moving fast, start now, doing whatever you have on your agenda, whatever you have for a business, you know, sometimes you may have to start the business, what the business plan, get the business plan later, but like you said, taking that massive action. And then the T was time. Don't waste time, man. Being moving at that pace where you can be successful, man. And he said the difference between successful the difference between successful and unsuccessful people is what they do and not what they say. And I was like, whoa. So not putting words in people's mouths, but like you said, taking action, man. So making it a great life, goal oriented, results oriented, being excellent, wanting to be the best, taking action, and time, putting time in, man. Time to create the future that you deserve and you want.
Okay. Cool. All right. So last question, and we can wrap it up on this. So we talk about the visualization thing, right? So where does Mike Rice see himself in 5, 10, whatever amount of years? Where do you see yourself with your brand and your motivational speaking, your book, and everything that you're doing right now? Your network.
Oh, that's a great question, and um I'm gonna answer, but I had to really like say, man, what do I want, man? That's the question I had to ask myself, like, man, what I'm making these videos and what do I want? And honestly, even is to be a successful entrepreneur, a successful business owner, and putting Coach Michael Rice and all the other brands where they are in a space to not only bless me financially, but being able to build this Coach Rice entity brand with products, services, and doing seminars where this can, for us, Coach Michael Rice and my brand can take uh it being a part of my financial growth, like
Right.
being able to build Coach Rice, uh, Coach Michael Rice, the Michael Rice brand, to where I can walk away and know that I'm good for being an entrepreneur. So that's pretty much, man, my goal right now is to be a successful entrepreneur, successful business owner, like making Coach Michael Rice a brand where I can make um financial gains through me being a business a successful business owner through books, CDs, audios, seminars, and just like I said, just put out content where this can help people from 10, 20 years down, whether it's motivation from motivation, or like you said, being self-aware, and being what I call uh, transformation transformation inside of yourself, building that transformation to say, okay, I may I'm good in this area, but I need help in my finances, or I'm good in finances, but I need help in my relationship. So being happy, the ultimate goal is to maximize the potential of people to be happy, healthy, and prosperous in every area, man. So that's what I'm pushing for.
To make sure, like I know I said that was the last question. Anything that you have coming up that you want to let the people know about before?
Oh yeah, like I said, once again, go to my Coach Michael Rice page. There's gonna be more content coming out. Oh, be on the lookout, man. It's a 7 day transformation challenge that's coming up, where I'm gonna have a it's gonna be a series of 7 videos to walk you through different stages of transformation. So that'll be something. It'll be on my Facebook coaching page, where
Mm-hmm.
that's going to we talk about this all the time, building a tribe of people
Right,
that
right.
motivate for motivation. So that 7 day transformation challenge is going to attract individuals that's saying, it's about to be 2021. People, they said about 2020, but we still here. But you know,
What what you said? They said about.
I said 2020. I said, people sad about 2020, but I said we still living.
Oh, right.
Um,
I know, right? It's all
so
perspective, man.
yeah. So yeah, getting ready for the new year, and it's just gonna ask those questions, man. What do you really want? What do you see yourself on it? Okay, let's start here. Let's start here with 7 days. Put them
Mm,
in small. Put them in. Put them in small. Put them having in a small step,
right.
and then where I we connect with those individuals and send them to my private page on Facebook to start building them daily. With, just like you said, positive self talk. Maybe get you in there and start having sessions with these people, and building a community, man. Building
Right.
a Today You Win community, where we can have those seminars and start attracting people. And even with what you got, man, uh, the gym, man, got to elevate your mindset. But yeah, I know that's coming. And then along with once we get the podcast, through different local people that I know, family members, and people that's been successful, and just telling them about their journey and where they're going from here and what's next, and how people can do the same thing. So yeah, that's what's next, man.
What's up, man? I know we've been rapping for a long time, man, but I appreciate you coming to the
Hey,
gym, man.
man, this is good. Like, man, he was bringing it out of me. I don't know. I mean, I gotta
Uh,
do it again. So,
uh,
have somebody come. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man. Once again, follow me on Facebook, Instagram at Coach Michael Rice. Um, and I'm excited, man. Today you win because today you live.
that's what's up, man. And I like to say, man, we all go through that roller coaster of life. So why not have a guide to elevate your mindset?
Let's go.
Jim
Boom.
out.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, there we go, baby.